What's good, everybody? Welcome to Candid Combos. I'm your host, Quay Price. We got Chloe with us today. Say what's up to the people, Chloe?
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday.
You gonna give them a little cute hey. That's how you gonna do that?
I say that every show.
All right, shout out to everybody joining us tonight. We might be missing Steve Prince. I don't know where my boy Prince at tonight. Shout out to everybody joining us tonight. Let's say this is Candid Convos. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, we talk about a lot of things on this show. We talk about everything on this show. Like I said, there's nothing that is off limits, right? But like I said, we appreciate you joining us. Definitely like, share, and subscribe. Share out the show for us. Help us spread the word. Um, and like I said, we are going to, start pushing more content to YouTube because we want you guys to start joining us over at YouTube as well. So definitely go check out the Quay Price page on YouTube. Drop a subscribe. Let's say we're just trying to grow the platform and get this information to as many people as possible. So tonight is no different. We got an interesting topic. The topic for tonight is get it off your chest. Let me run that back. Get it off your chest. All right. So if anybody who wants to join us on the panel, I'm going to throw the link up on the screen. It's right there. All right. So you definitely can join us on the panel. Throw that in your browser, Google Chrome, Edge, whatever your iPhone, whatever you're using. You can join us on the panel. Let's say you do have the ability to cut your camera off if you're scared. We understand. But definitely come join us. Let's say, for the most part, tonight is a open topic night, if you will. So whatever you want to talk about, bring it to us. Like I said, we've got a couple things we're going to touch, but anything that you want to talk about tonight, drop it down in the comments or come up on the panel and let's talk about it. But yeah, so let's get on into this. I've also got, just to add, I've also got the link in the chat feed as well on the Candid Combos page or on my Quay Price page. So
Yeah, it's clickable.
Definitely join us. Like I said, it is a hyperlink, so it'll bring you right to us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So a couple things I want to touch real quick. Well, not even real quick, but a couple things I want to touch. So last week I made a post about some of the stuff I was seeing on social media. And I'll just reference that for a minute. I was seeing a lot of, it almost come off like evil. Yeah, but I was seeing a lot of stuff on social media. Like I said, I'm sure, everybody's probably aware at this point that, the gentleman Kevin Samuels passed away. And let's say just based on him passing away, there was all types of things that transpired after that, right? So there was young ladies celebrating. Folks celebrating his passing, folks celebrating doing away with him and his messaging, just all type of stuff. And yeah, I've never seen anything like that before, to be honest with you. So I had to go quiet for a minute. I'm gonna be real. I had to go quiet for a minute because I needed to digest what was going on, especially with my people. What was going on. And I'm not gonna even front. I had to let a couple people go.
I stay unfollowing people, child. I do it all the time. It's a daily thing.
For sure. Yeah, no, me and the unfriend button, we was getting it in. So,
You
go
just
ahead.
have to protect your peace. I would suggest, I think that needs to be a, monthly exercise that we all should should perform. Like, you have to protect your peace. It's just not worth it. I'm not going back and forth in my comments with you. And don't get me wrong, if you're trying to have a productive conversation, then I'm with having a productive conversation with you. That's completely different. But if you want to go off topic, if you want to deflect from what we're talking about, if you want to be nasty or rude, if you think you being petty, or maybe you think, you making me look bad, or you want to, say, inflammatory things in my comments, your comment is getting deleted and you're getting unfollowed. And I'm probably going to block you from the post because I got to protect my peace and I don't play those kinds of games.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
My Lord said, don't debate. So I'm not going to debate with you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, me and the unfriend button, we was getting it in, so I'm not going to front. But I'm gonna play a video because I just have to. I think it needs to be played. And then we're gonna get into this conversation. Like I said, anybody watching this right now, let's definitely drop a comment with your topic. And like I said, we touching it tonight, right on the spot. We touching it. But I'm gonna start with this video. I just want to play this real quick because I think this is important to see.
I take no particular pride or pleasure in doing shows like this because I know it triggers certain Black women. I know they do. I know some of them get pissed. I've heard women on YouTube saying things that they don't watch the show end to end. And I'm not going to, and that's not going to change anything because there are far more women and far women who are listening. And who are the recipients? The women who listen end to end and are saying, well, you've changed my life. You've helped me look at this way or that way. Those women are benefiting. And guarantee when those women come into contact with men doing something, they all benefit. We're better off working with each other, trying to understand one another. None of us are perfect. Certainly not me. I ain't shit. I got a lot of problems. It's like anybody else. We all got issues. But it's like Ice Cube. When the brother steps up to do something, support. Find ways to support. Even if you have an issue with something he's doing, can you find 4 or 5 things about it that you like before you start off with the one thing you don't like? Because you cannot keep painting Black men in this ain't shit box. They don't all fit there. And brothers are starting to push back and say, no, 51% of us are single and childless and 64% in the middle class. They're here. Can you interact with them just in a peaceful, civil way? If you never get married and never have kids, can you have a higher quality of life? Can you just be happy? Can you stop walking through life with your hands up ready to fight the reflection of you, the opposite sex reflection of you? I don't walk through life looking at Black women as though they're my enemy. And I would hope that for the Black women who this applies, you stop walking through life assuming the Black men or somebody to challenge, and somebody to overcome, to struggle against. We don't need that.
And that's it. And that's what we should walk away from, his life and his passing. I feel like that's what we all should take away from it, right? I think that we spend a lot of time, and it's not just Kevin Samuels. You can really pick anybody who's saying anything that the general population doesn't agree with. It really doesn't even matter. Anybody who's saying anything contrary to what makes me, and I'm using myself as an example, I actually don't. I'm not a part of the general population in this particular situation, but whatever makes me feel good, whatever makes me happy at the moment. Self-care, self this, self that, self. I mean, if you ain't about that life now, then we don't agree. The women who speak up against other women who are out here with their stuff together, is they pick me's, and then the dudes that speak up are toxic masculine men. I mean, so it's really like you being reduced, labeled, and then canceled. And my thing is this: I didn't always agree with everything that the man said either. I didn't watch a ton of his shows. I would see clips here and there, but at the end of the day, I don't understand. And I actually did. I know Donovan said he doesn't think they were actually celebrating, but I actually did see videos of women who were like, throwing stuff that he said back at him, and saying comments like, you died alone, you died single, and saying stuff like that. Just real talk about toxic, right? Like, you know, and then the whole comment, and you might play this clip, but the whole comment that Vivica made, and I'm just like, the nerve of her, you know, sis, like, how you gonna talk about somebody else getting what they deserve? You literally putting this negative, you basically speaking curses and you think what's gonna happen, right? Like, what's gonna happen to you? So I just think, I don't know, people are really revealing themselves. I tell you what, you know, when the Bible said that, you know, in the end times, which we are in right now, that knowledge would increase, right? Knowledge is really increasing, and he is really exposing things. Like, people are being exposed everywhere. Everything that is was being done in the dark is being brought to the light. People are being exposed. They are exposing themselves. It has never been easier to cut people loose because they really are telling on themselves. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not with it. I ain't with the you know, dancing on top of nobody's grave. I don't do that.
Yeah, no, I said, and I agree. Well, I said these are just a couple of the folks. I know Vivica, you know, had something negative to say about him. I know, man, of all people, Derek Jackson had something negative to say about him. And then, of course, you know, Jamal Bryant, of all people, had something negative to say about him as well. And like I said, this is my thing. This is my thing. This is my thing. So, you know, the whole time that you know, Samuels was doing his thing. I saw a lot of folks get caught up. You know, I always saw the comment of, you know, they don't like his tone. Wait, hold on one sec. Hold on, Vince. I'm gonna send that to you, man. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me just fire this link out real quick. Give me 1 sec, everybody. Yeah, so the whole time, I you know, I saw folks talking about his tone. It's always about his tone, right? You know, they didn't like how he talked, or they didn't like what he said. And sometimes I wonder, did anybody ever sit down and actually absorb the message? Like, real talk. Did anybody ever sit down and absorb the message? You know, a lot of times he talked about getting your stuff together. Yeah, but a lot of times he talked about, and I said he talked to men and women. A lot of times, you know, some of the recent shows, you know, he was telling, you know, some of the ladies to get their stuff together. Yeah, but if you're saying that you want this type of man, then there's a criteria for that type of man. So, you know, when you kind of break some of the things down that he would say, or some of his beliefs, it really was nothing, you know, complicated. Like he was just saying stuff that you already know. You know, at the end of the day, let's say, when, you know, thinking about it in its simplest forms, right? When you about to step out, you want to get yourself together so you're presentable, right? Yep. So what's the difference when you're approaching a man or when you're approaching a woman? You know what I'm saying? If you're saying that you want a man with a certain amount of money, or a man is saying that he wants a female that is this way, I mean, there's stuff you got to do in preparation, right? At least I thought it was. Yeah, so I'm really trying to understand, what are we really looking at? What's good with you, Vince?
Hello. Sad day, sad day.
Yeah, it is a sad day, man. It is a sad day. But like I said, we're gonna talk about it. Like I said, anything else that comes up, we talking about it tonight. But yeah, this is really what I'm trying to figure out. If a lot of the ladies said that they couldn't stand the dude, then why was y'all continuously calling in? My second point is if this, you know, I've also heard the folks who said that the guy was so irrelevant, you know, he was so to be disregarded. If that's the case, the guy has passed away. Why you still talking about him? Well, I need us to get real with this thing. Oh, they popping up. Uh-oh. What's going on, IT? Oh, she got us on mute or something. So yeah, it's a couple things I need to
Nothing much.
understand. Oh, okay, there she go. There she go. You must. I'm assuming you
Hey,
must want to say
Kyle.
something. Because
Hey, how are you?
Good. How you doing? How you doing over there?
I'm tired. I made it to Jersey safely.
All right. You from Jersey now. You gonna
Oh,
start
well,
you gonna change how you speak now? You better get the accent.
no, I hope not. Y'all let me know if I do.
no, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, so I need to know that. Yep, I need to know that. Like I said, this guy is gone, and folks are still talking, talking about him every day. Like I said, not a lot of negative stuff at that. So if this guy was so irrelevant, like you tried to pretend, then why are you still talking about him? Why are you still hating on the man? He's not even here anymore. So yeah, I need to understand that. You need to understand it. You want to say something, Vince? Are you good, man?
Yeah. First, I want to give condolences to the family of Kevin Samuels, his mom, his daughter, the people that loved him, his friends. I personally know Anton Daniels. He's from Detroit. I know
Yep.
he's a good brother. And me and my wife heard about it, it was Thursday.
Right.
And we couldn't believe it because we had just watched his live that Wednesday. And so when the rumors came out, we was like, no, it ain't true. No, it ain't true. But then, of course, it became true. And we've been talking about it ever since then. Shed a tear for my man, for the Godfather. And what I want to do is I want to start off my comments with a few fragrances. I got my Bond 9 here. I got my Creed that my wife will not let me wear if we're not together.
Wow.
Because she said it just smells too good. And I also have my Tom Ford Oud Wood.
There it is.
Giving it up for the Godfather.
For sure, for
You picking
sure.
up where he left off.
You definitely got my spell game today.
Yeah.
When he would say something, I'd be like, ooh, babe, write that down. So I think we just had to lighten the load. But one thing I would say is not to say he's right or he's wrong or his message, but what I told a lot of my female Facebook friends and my other friends is that you might not agree with what he said, but the men are speaking. And for all of you that want a husband, you want a boyfriend, I challenge them to find a man that you respect, a man that can really tell you something and get his opinion on it. On what he was saying, on his different points. And as far as the tone, it was true. These women called it to get his opinion. He just didn't pick somebody out the crowd. They were calling to get his opinion. And I hear a lot from the ladies about, well, yeah, I might agree with what he said, but I just didn't like his tone. And I think that the difference between men and women, a lot of things, is that men have never been coddled. We have always got it straight, no chaser. And I wanted to relay that in like sports and how some of the best coaches are the meanest. They pull everything out of you. And they don't always do it with a nice tone, but they're trying to get you to a level. And I often think about how I kind of wanted to phrase it was that I view, Kevin Samuels like a Bobby Knight. And quite know what I'm talking about, a Bobby Knight.
For sure.
If you have a team and you got players on your team, and certain players say, you know what, I want to go to the NBA. And that means I want to have value man. I want the top tier. I want all the way to the top. Bobby Knight might see, okay, you need to work on some things. And then he might be in practice and you sloughing off and he say, look, Isaiah Thomas, I need you to play some defense. You're not playing the defense. I need for you to run around. I need for you to get in shape. If you want to go to the NBA, I know what the NBA is looking for. And I'm going to try to pull it out of you. Some players get broken in that system because they can't take the criticism or the hard love. And then some players make it to the NBA. So with the tone aspect, I really don't understand that because nobody talks to men with a certain tone. I challenge some of these women to just go down there and sit in the child support cases and see how these judges talk to these men. Don't know them from Adam, just to see. Go down and sit in traffic court and see how judges talk to these men and how men will go in there and they don't want to hear no excuses. I've been in there with men that said, well, Judge, I can't pay because I don't have a job. I can't pay because I don't have a car. And he said, well, you need to get a car. You need to, and there's no, well, that's okay. We'll give you another chance. It's okay. No. They talk to you. They keep it straight, no chaser. So my thing is all that, and I don't really like to use the start off with the deflection saying that, oh, well, I don't agree with everything he said. No, I agree with most of what he said. And I think people that say that, it's a deflection from how you really feel. Because me personally, I don't agree with everything nobody says.
Right.
I don't agree with everything my pastor say.
Right.
I don't agree with everything my mama had said. Mm-hmm. But if I tell you to come to my church, I'm not going to say, well, I want you to come to my church, but I don't agree with everything you say. Because your thing is going to be, well, why do you go?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. But a lot of people have said that to kind of deflect. And I agree with most of what he said. That's why I listened. But and then I also feel that I'm going to end that, it really shows the disconnect that we have as men and women. I don't care if you like the man or not. The man is dead at 56 years old.
Yeah.
And he didn't kill nobody. He didn't rape nobody. Mm-hmm. He didn't commit no crimes. Mm-mm. All he did was maybe be a little rude in your eyes.
Right.
But I've heard people, he got what he deserved, and he how you live is how you die, and that's his karma. And I was like, wow. I was saddened by some of the responses, especially from women and some men, but especially I'm like, this man is dead. Because, I want to keep it real. We didn't say that about certain rappers who were known Crips and say, well, he got what he deserved. He was a Crip.
Right.
Or, well, he got what he deserved. He was convicted of rape.
Right.
But we have love for these people. But you can't have a love for another black man who maybe you did this, maybe you disagree with.
Right.
Yeah.
It was really,
I think it kind of goes back to anytime someone is forcing you to be accountable. I'll say this. I said it before. I'll say it again. Nobody really wants to be held accountable. Okay. So I'm going to say on both sides, men and women. And I'm speaking in general. Obviously, I can't speak for every single person alive. But nobody really wants to be held accountable. So when you have someone that's constantly wanting to hold you accountable for your behavior, for your actions, for your thoughts, for the way you carry yourself, right? That's going to rub you the wrong way because they're calling you to do something that you are actively avoiding. I've heard women say stuff like they had to apologize to a man and they was trying to find a way not to have to. And women was giving them all kind of outlandish things. Move. Just change your number. Pretend like you dead. Like stuff like that. Just because this woman was going to have to apologize to a man and she didn't want to. This is the state of mind that people are in. I just need you to understand that, right? And I'm not saying that men don't have similar hangups, but it's interesting to me because I'm a woman, so I'm speaking to women. Women in general are having a problem right now being held accountable. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be held accountable by women. They call them pick-me's. Then when a man tries to hold them accountable, they say he's toxic and narcissistic and whatever else they can come up with. And this is why you'll have women who are cheering about the fact that Kevin has passed on. Like I mean, it's just it's the state of mind, right? Now, any woman who can fix their lips to say something about he got what he deserved, you literally are speaking curses over your own life when you say stuff like that. I don't believe in karma because I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. So I already know karma and me is not a thing. But for those people who are saying that, right, karma, then how can you believe in karma and say this man got what he deserved, right? Because of how he lived, but yet you over here speaking curses over a dead man, and you think that's not going to come back to you if you believe in karma? It's like, where are we going with this train of thought? That's like I said last week. We open up our mouths and these things come out of them, right? These things, we just saying all kinds of stuff. We have no idea. We are literally speaking from our trauma. We are speaking from our pain. We are speaking from our immaturity. All of these things that are coming out of our mouths. And I'm just like, I'm not, I'm never going to sit in front of any woman. First of all, I don't hate women, by the way. I actually love my sisters. Like I actually do. I don't do this because I ain't chasing no clout. I don't make no money off of this. I literally do this because I'm hoping in some way I can help somebody. That's why I do this. So when I'm speaking to women, I'm saying, we need to heal because there's things that I've had to heal from. We all have some type of trauma or some type of conditioning or something that affected us from our youth, something that, we were taught or told we were growing up. We all have something, an experience that we had that we all have to heal from. And I just feel like we all speaking from this place of trauma. I mean, you have to be affected for you to be cheering on somebody else's death. You got to be affected. You can't deny that. And just to point this out, these people that are speaking against him, okay, I'm sorry, Vivica, where's your receipts? Why should I be taking advice from you? Do you even got a man? Jamal Bryant, didn't you just tell me, hubby, that he was cheating on his wife? And dear Justin, don't even get me started on him. His cheating was very public. While he was telling y'all women that was lapping that stuff up, he was giving y'all like it was warm milk. He was telling y'all how to spot a dog. If a man don't do you like this, if he don't do you like that, when he was sleeping around on his wife the whole time. This is what y'all listen to. These are the people that you co-sign for. But then when a man comes around and tells you, I ain't ish, I got my own problems, I'm just telling you that these are some things that we need to reconcile between each other, then you want to, you happy he dead. It's dysfunctional. This is why this man had a job. This is why he had a job. Because our relationship is dysfunctional. Anybody who doesn't see that is in denial.
For sure. So, this was my thought on it all, right? Hearing some of the stuff that I was hearing from some of the ladies and regarding him, passing away, and them to a certain extent celebrating him passing away. For me, it was starting to feel like the ladies was feeling like they had dodged the bullet. That's really how it seemed to me, to be honest about it. And for me, it just took me back to, to Vince's point, fellas have always had to hear it, no chaser. Fellas have been getting critiqued their whole lives, and that is a fact. Any man can agree with that. But it's really starting to feel like the ladies, they just don't want to get critiqued. They don't want to take accountability. They just don't want nobody to say nothing. And that's really what it feels like. And at the end of the day, I have to say, to the ladies, ladies, you gotta accept some criticism at some point. Yeah, y'all keep saying y'all want this type of man. And like I said, well, better yet, let me tell you what y'all keep saying. You're saying you don't want a man who work a 9-to-5 job. Y'all out here saying that y'all don't want a man who making, or better yet, the man need to be making more than 6 figures. Dude making 6 figures, that ain't enough. Dude under 6 feet, that ain't enough. Dude skin too dark, that ain't gonna work. Dude got any kids, that ain't gonna work. Dude ain't got no 401k, that ain't gonna work. It's like, so it's just a long list.
Well, you forgot he got to smell good.
Right. Oh yeah, my bad. I got more. He got to smell good. He got to have pretty teeth. He got to have a great smile. He got to wine and dine you. He got to court you. He can't be a mama's boy. The list goes on.
He got to be packing.
Got to be right there. You go. He got to be packing.
Can't forget that.
And I'm done.
Oh, right. You got to put the smell good in there.
Right. You got to smell good. He got to have the what was it, Vince? The oud wood.
The time for oud wood.
Why y'all talking about that? I know this. Why you talking about that, ladies? It's time. It's time for it. Ain't it? The time for a cherry for me. Okay, if you know, you know. And it's that YSL, the one with the pheromones, ladies.
I got that too. I didn't want to bring
if
all
you
of
know,
them.
You know. Sidebar. If you know, you
I'm
know.
just saying the smell good does matter now. I'm just saying.
It does. So I'm gonna give y'all that, Nicole.
It matters.
I'm gonna give y'all that, Nicole. But the point that I'm making on Nicole is, like I said, I just ran off. I done lost count. I don't even know how many things that was, right? I just ran those
it was
down.
like 20 or over. 20 or
right.
over, I think.
Right. So a whole 20 items, right? So I just ran that down. But then on the flip side, when that dude come back and he say, okay, I want this and this, y'all having a fit. And it's like, what's really good? So y'all can run down the list of 20. So if you don't meet the list of 20, then y'all ain't about to mess with him. But when he come back with his little list of 2, then y'all ready to have a fit.
Now it's a little bit molded too.
Come on.
It's like 10, 12.
You see what I'm saying? See, the ladies, y'all don't want to own none of this. Y'all don't want to own none of this.
I didn't say that, but you dudes we have the list too. Nah.
Okay. So let me say this. Our list ain't nowhere near y'all list. Can you at least agree to that?
I can probably agree to that. I can agree to that.
Wow.
Oh my God.
It's painful to agree.
Vince,
no,
man,
it's not painful. I had to think about
painful.
it before I agreed to it. I had to think about it, delayed response.
Well, I'm gonna say it anyway. Our list ain't nowhere near as long as that list, and y'all list keep changing day by day. So our list ain't nowhere near
accurate. The list do change.
The list do change. Yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, Kevin was trying to. I'm gonna put it this way. I know a lot of folks like to get hung up on tone, but Kevin, at least in my opinion, he was trying to school y'all. Yeah, he was trying to school y'all on some gems, on how y'all got to move out here. And like I said, at the end of the day, he was also saying, some of the things that men are thinking that they just not telling y'all. Yeah, but I think, like I said, it's important that instead of yeah, we touching on Kevin Samuels right now. That's the Kevin we mentioned. Just to answer that. But yeah, instead of getting caught up in the tone, there was so many gems that could have been absorbed by the ladies, to y'all benefit, to be honest. Um, and y'all just didn't want to absorb it, just didn't want to own any of what he was saying. And like I said, for me, that's a whole problem. Yeah, so you know what? And this is not directed, directed at you personally. But I did also hear, some young ladies say that they never saw any of his content. I'm not sure how, because the content was everywhere. But I guess that's possible. But like I said, I feel like he definitely was dropping some gems. But yeah, like I said, we got a whole problem. We got a whole problem because at the end of the day, none of this is gonna work unless men and women can coexist. Yep, unless we can get along, unless we can come together, none of this is going to work. And if we continue to have people, if it be male or female, that decide to speak up about these issues, listen, I know right now, a lot of folks are touching on these issues that are originating from females or directly affecting females. If we're always going to try to suppress these people every time these things come out and they speak about holding yourself accountable or what you may need to address to move forward, then it's like, how do we ever expect to get anywhere? Yeah, like real talk. Like, let me put it to you like this. Ladies say that when they ask a man a question, they want to know the truth. I'm starting to doubt that. I'm starting to doubt that. I'm starting to think the ladies, they don't want the truth. Yep, I know you may, saying a lot of folks may not have agreed with everything, Kevin was saying. But he did. He spoke a lot of truth. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Outside the tone, let's take the emotion out of it. Let's just go off just straight facts. He dropped some truthful points, in his shows. And it's like the ladies just want to reject it. So I'm like, do y'all really want the truth? Or y'all just want to, y'all just want the information to whatever make you feel good, whatever's comfortable to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's a real question. Go ahead, Biz.
Then I will also say is that I was talking to one friend of mine and she listened to one of his shows and got turned off and stopped watching them. And then, it's all on social media now. And she went back to the one clip where he was talking about the leftover women. And I think a lot of times now we're in such rush for information is that we'll take a clip and not understand the context of what and why and how it was said. They'll take a clip from the average at best and not understand the whole context of what she was saying. And then and to that point where I think it's just people are just want to be mad. I was like, well, did you watch any of his content talking to men? They would say, well, he was disrespectful to women. He was berating women. I said, well, did you watch any of his content when it came to men?
I was gonna say,
didn't.
didn't
Well, why
he
not?
had some episodes that he like chewed out like mediocre men, right? Somebody, I don't know who posted it, but somebody posted something.
Woo.
I can't remember the guy's name for the life of me, but I think it was like either last week or something like that, and he posted like some long post where he was like, well, he addressed men, and it was some long post about how he addressed mediocre men, like financially, like they had attitudes, how they kind of weren't fit for marriage. Like it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I remember,
and I think it was he addressed men first originally before women, right?
Correct. Yeah, he did that for a few years actually.
And the difference was, I remember one post had a young guy on there talking about he wanted to know, well, how can I become a high value man? How can I become what I need to be? And he said the same spiel. You know, how old are you? How much you make? And he was saying, well, I'm 20. I think it was 26, 27. He had 4 kids by 3 different women. He said, okay, well, where do you work? He said, well, you know, right now I'm doing crypto and some or other. He said, hold on, bro. Why you on Instagram? You need to be at work right now. You need to be taking care of your kids right now. Don't call me talk about no high value man ass when you got 4 kids and Bitcoin. Why you not at work? But you know what the brother did? And most of them did? Yeah, man, you right. They wasn't, well, my wife, you know, my girlfriend let me do it. And I've had girlfriends that let me stay in their house and girlfriends let me drive their car. And they took it and said, you know what, I'm going to try to do better. But the
Right.
ladies, on the other hand, they want to complain and, oh, I'm thick uh, and it don't matter about who my baby daddy is. And, you know, it don't matter about none of that. And I think that the problem, especially with our sisters, is and black people in general, we have been lied to since we've been on this country. We've been lied about that we weren't human. We were 3/5 of a man. We was lied to when we got the Declaration of Independence, and they lied and said they was gonna give us 40 acres and a mule. And we've got so accustomed to lying that especially with our women, because I always tell people I can't be canceled because what I do don't have no ties to a woman at all. Except the state and the women that know me and I work with know me. Been knowing me for 20 something years. So they know. So I don't have to be nice. I'm just saying I can be straightforward. But we have been lied to for so long. And you gotta understand that there's an economic value to keep us separated.
Right.
Black women are the number one consumers in the United States. Black people are the number one consumers in the United States. And especially our women are number one consumers because most of the time they spend money to because they don't have love. They spend money. They go on these girl trips. They buying purses. They buying clothes. They buying stuff they can't afford to compensate for that husband. That if they built together, you might not can buy as many purses. You might
Right.
can't go on 3-4 girls trips.
That's real.
You can't do all this and spend all this money. You can't go to all these concerts because most of the time you go to concerts, it's women at these concerts. It's women who buy the music. If you look at all the top artists that are still around, it's because they were predominantly women loved them. LL Cool J, Drake, women funding these careers. So you can't say nothing.
For sure.
Women are the ones buying these books and going to these conferences and doing all that. So
True.
you really can't be. And Kevin was supported by men. You got to understand something, and a lot of women did like his message, but they wouldn't say it outwardly. But his main people were men. And
For
so we
sure.
have to understand it. And then I also take it back to, it's like the doctor who tells you, now I'm diabetic. So it's like as a doctor, I go to the doctor. He said, well, Vince, man, you might need to lose some weight. Or you're going to die. Or they're about to cut your foot off. Or you can go blind. Then I sit up here and say, oh, well, that's the white man's chart. And my grandmother smoked and she smoked till she was 100 years old. And I don't have to eat right because the person down the street and the doctor say, look, I got all this training for a reason. Now you can still do what you do, but what your outcome gonna be?
Right.
So we love to be lied to. Well, that's the white man's BME. That's the white man's chart. No, that's the your ass is too big chart. But see,
Right.
men will go in there like I did. I'm done, and I do not do the right thing all the time, but I get my ass in that gym. I try to eat right, and I try to do what my doctor said, because he'll have no reason to lie to me.
There it is.
And I'm paying him.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, no, man. It's just I don't know. Let me ask the ladies this question. See, now I got questions. So, ladies, I'm gonna be blunt with it. I see we got some female viewers with us right now. We got Candace. We got a couple other ladies in here. Ladies, do y'all feel like there's anything that y'all need to improve? Who got the guts to answer that? I see Nicole looking like she wants to smoke. Come on, Nicole. Do y'all
Don't
got
be singling me
anything?
out here, okay?
Well, no, I see that look on your face. I see that look on your face.
It's definitely things I need to improve on. I just feel like it's me personally. I just feel like it's a lot now at one time, and it's kind of a little stressful amongst regular life. That's me.
See what I'm saying?
That's me.
Y'all perfect now. See what I'm saying?
Who said?
Might be the comedy corner.
Oh, I see the comment.
Yeah, that comment. See, we perfect. See, yeah. All right, go ahead, Nicole. I'm gonna come back to that. Go ahead.
Oh Lord. No, like I was saying, I feel like it is a lot of things I need to improve on in the aspect of regular life.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
okay.
I mean, I'm learning lessons every day. Yeah, I'm learning lessons every day. I feel some lessons I definitely get upset with. I feel like it's some things I wish I would have rather have been told than let the world teach me. Because it hurt a lot more, but I'm kind of just accepting it at this point.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to see if somebody else keep it real. Is that Candace, you unmuted? You about to say something?
Oh yeah, I was hello. Hi everyone. Hey Chloe. So no, every day. That's what I get up for. Every single day there's a mission. And that day involves productivity, improving, just becoming the best person I can be. Here's the problem. When I want to improve as a person, I'm not going to go to a man and ask him, how do I improve as a woman? I'm going to go to another woman. And like Nicole said, the women now that are on the pedestal and they have the opportunity, this platform to really get out there and mentor and change the lives of other women, the things we need to change are so unrealistic. It's too much. You start with all these basic things, especially where most of us born before 1990, so a lot of the things that are going on now, they weren't around back then. So now who's there to guide us through the woes of social media, the different kind of bullying in today's society? We thought being a colorist was real. You stick your hand in with a bunch of other girls when you're little and compare your skin complexion, but now it's real. You get on the internet and that's all you see, people comparing skin complexion. You're ugly if you're dark, you're ugly if you're brown, you're fine if you're mixed or whatever the case may be. But as far as trying to improve, I think most of us are. It's just nowhere to turn to anymore, there's no advice. Nicole just said it. I'm just accepting it for what it is now. So when I go to Nicole, that's what it is. So
can I respond to that real quick?
Go ahead,
No, but seriously, like Candace just said something for real. I think that maybe what's happening to us, and I'm putting myself in that category too. I think maybe what's happening to us is because we are those babies that were born prior to the 1990s, right? So we didn't grow up living this life that exists right now, right? Like we didn't grow up with all of this. Mm-hmm. So this for us, everything was reality. When we dated and you met somebody, like you met them face to face, there was no dating apps where you could weed through people or do all of that. Like there wasn't that. Like if you didn't meet somebody face to face in person, then you wouldn't meet nobody because that's how y'all met. Like even cell phones, the way we have cell phones now and how connected we are, we were not that connected. Like, you know, like it's different. And I think that it can be overwhelming. But I think that part of that is because we, and I'm including myself, we're letting the changes that exist now dictate how we see ourselves.
That's true.
Instead of really seeing ourselves how we should see ourselves. Like these things are great. Like the conveniences that we have now are great, right? But I think sometimes we take all these conveniences and sometimes they could be almost like a catch-22. Like we have all these conveniences and they're great, but then at the same time, you know, social media, and I'm not going to blame social media for everything. Okay. I'm not doing that, but I can't act like it doesn't contribute to, you know, some of us having lower self-esteem than we should. Some of us being as judgmental of ourselves as we are. Like these influencers and the people who make money off of this, like Candace was saying, a lot of the women who are calling themselves like speaking to other women, these people are so unrealistically, quote unquote, perfect. They're so unrealistically perfect, right? How am I supposed to match this criteria that they're giving me? And if I start to try to see myself in the way that they are portraying, then I'm going to feel overwhelmed. I'm going to easily feel overwhelmed. And then what's going to happen is it's going to psych me out and I'm just going to go forget the whole thing.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm at.
Yeah, like I mean,
Yep,
I I mean, I felt that way. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say that I have never compared myself. Absolutely, I have unfortunately played the comparison game, and it's the most dangerous thing to do because you'll go from being really happy with yourself and content with where you are to all of a sudden being so dissatisfied, and that messes with you mentally. So, I mean, I feel like what we maybe need to start doing is turning that off, like turning everybody else's voices down so that we can really truly understand who we are and what we actually want. Not, you know, what we think we want based off of what we see or what people are saying we want. Because I agree with you. My thing is take everything that everybody is saying with a grain of salt. You know, some of the stuff that Kevin said, I agree with. He made valid points, right? But that doesn't mean that now you got to take that and go run out here and think that you about to become an overnight, you know, whatever you want to call it. Overnight, there's no way you could do that. Like I'm 40 years old and I'm still working on myself. Like I still have things that I'm working on at 40 that, you know, all my life. And some of these I've come to understand that are problem. Like I'm like, oh wow, I literally been doing this forever. And now I gotta deprogram myself at 40.
Right.
Like that's gonna happen overnight. There's no way. But I think that if we can at least be honest about the fact that we do have some things that we need to work on and then reasonably work on them and not be trying to, you know, hashtag goals, whatever somebody else, you know, consider to be it. Like, I think that, you know, that's messing with a lot of us. And I think that, you know, we probably need to distance ourselves from that. Or you'll feel defeated before you even get started.
Go ahead, Vince.
Something that Candace said, I think that the question needed to be a little bit more specific is, what do you need to change for a man?
Okay. Right.
I was kind of into that too,
but I think that's what Kevin was like. Okay. You say you want a husband,
right?
Then what do you need to change? And I think, and because it took us decades and generations to get to this point, it might take us decades and generations because I think the main problem, the number one problem, that there is no respect for the black man. Because if I look at my situation, as I was growing up, we're coming into maybe the third generations of men not being in the home. So you know, a lot of men and women don't have a relationship with their father, don't respect their father, men and women. They, especially like with my kids, at least maybe with Kawhi. I know you guys are younger than me, but my generation, I would say before, I'm gonna say what's that, Generation X, because we over 40. We had our grandparents. We had our grandfathers who had been in our lives all our lives. We had
Yeah, I
our
got questions
uncles who
about
had been
that.
in our lives all our lives, and they can tell us something. So when Candace said, "Well, I wouldn't go to a man," that just boom, it geared me because. And then I asked someone. I said, "Do you have any men in your life that you've known your whole life and you respect enough to listen to what they say and do it?"
You know
And
what? And
so many women were, well, wait a minute. So many women said, "Well, my pastor," well, I said, "Well, you didn't know your pastor your whole life. Where's your father?" "Oh, me, I never had a relationship with my father." Well, where your grandfather?" "Oh, he dead." "Well, where your uncles?" "They, you know, they out here having babies. They ain't somebody I look up to. They living on somebody else." So they,
right.
and I think a lot of times, like even with me and my wife, is that I don't think some women even think that those men are really possible. The men that can't pay for everything, the men that do want to get married, the men that do want to raise their children.
I feel
There,
like you don't
you know,
hear that though.
that's what I'm. So I
Even though that
understand.
might be more of a standard guy, I still feel like they're not honest enough to say that. From my experience, I haven't heard anybody just say, you know what, I can't do this, but I'm willing to work with you. From my generation, I don't hear that. What I hear is either you got it or you don't.
Right.
So it's a little different.
But
You
Vince,
talking
I
about from
agree
a
with you on
female
that.
point of view?
Sorry, I don't mean to cut
Huh?
anyone off, but Vince, I did get that misconstrued. I went immediately to like self improvement. You know, what do I do when I wake up in the morning? But when it comes to as far as what could I improve as a man from a man's perspective?
Mm,
Oh,
no, no. What you can do to improve yourself for a man.
right, and that I will agree. I wouldn't know that unless I asked my man or the man that I'm with or a father figure. Really wouldn't know
Mhm.
because as far as I'm concerned, I'm and I'm not perfect, but I like to think that I'm kind of trying to head my life in the right direction. So if no one's there to tell me, "Hey, stop, you're wrong," then I would
Mhm.
never know, you know. So I don't know. I've had a father. My father's been a pillar in the community. You know, I listen to everything he says. So I can't relate to that side of things, but I can relate to the things that my father was not able to tell me. My dad's 75 years old.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that he cannot tell me. He just can't do it. If I want to be a better prime example, when I wake up in the morning, how do I keep a smile on my face and be pleasant? Or how do I express or communicate to my partner that these fibroids are killing me? How do I express this to my partner? That's what I meant by the woman mentorship and things like that. It's things that we have not talked about as women until now because we didn't know about things that impact your household, things that impact your daily moods. We have to talk about these things amongst each other. And that's where I was coming from with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm open I'm Vince, I'm listening to you. Kwesi, you know, I've always listened to you, Raj. So it's always been a level of respect for me when it comes to men. And I'm not passive at all. I'm toning my aggressiveness down from I'm aggressive from what I heard, you know. But, you know, so I'm honing that on in. And that's something that I've heard from multiple men. And I am improving on that daily. And I've come a long way. And I'm really happy about it too. So yeah.
No, we appreciate that, Candace. Like I said, shout out to Mr. Gooseby. Like I said, he's definitely a pillar in the community. Like I said, Gooseby was one of my mentors growing up, just watching him in action, you know, from his days over at Adler, his days in the city, just holding it down as a real man, hooping on the court. Like I said, the only
Thank
cat I
you.
knew from 360s back in the day, just killing the game.
Not the
Um,
360s.
so yeah, shout out to Daddy Gooseby out here. Like I said, that's my guy right there. But I gotta touch
Yeah.
something real quick. Go ahead, Nicole, then I'm gonna touch something real quick. Go ahead, Nicole.
I was gonna say, Vince, to your part of the question, um, how can I improve for a man? I would say, for me, I feel like I'm trying to like tackle both at the same time. And that's partly why I feel overwhelmed. Um, to be honest, when you asked about like the father figure and all of that, to be honest, prime example with me moving, my father caught an attitude because I did not agree with his plan on how I was going to relocate. And looking at
Bruh.
it now, I was well in my rights to disagree. And when I voiced a concern, he kind of just went off. And my concern with him was, well, you're not driving this U-Haul to bring me down here. And what you're doing is throwing this off on your fiance, and her and I haven't spoken. I don't feel comfortable being in this small space with you guys for 9 hours. And if y'all disagree, I'm sitting here stuck. So me being honest and vulnerable and voicing my opinion basically is the reason why him and I aren't talking. So in terms of perspective and how he is, that's how he does things. If you don't agree, he kind of just goes off and shuts down. And I explained to him before he blocked me, um, you kind of being negative or taking things the wrong way without fully discussing them doesn't help me. I'm like, if anything, it hurts me because you're just voicing your opinion, or I feel like you're trying to just win an argument at this point. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to reach a resolution and do this thing where I'm, for me personally, using my voice more. He's not actually understanding that.
Wow.
So knowing how he is and knowing this situation that was really critical to me, I've just decided like we just aren't gonna have a relationship. Like I've given full effort to communicate and knowing and understanding that I need that relationship. But with him acting the way that he is, I realize I can't get certain things from him. And I know a big aspect is missing. So the father figure, well, the biological father figure for me is missing. In terms of the grandmother, um, I think Koi kind of knows that I haven't been talking to my grandmother for months now, and she's a very like clean homemaking like individual. Like she gets that from her mother, who thank God is still living. Um, but I realized at a certain point, she, because of how she communicates, I can't get certain information from her. So certain recipes and things that I actually want from her, I can't get because she can't properly communicate with the disagreement that we had as well. And right now she's just being spiteful. That's her attitude. So before I left, I explained to her, like, I've tried to build a relationship. I've tried to meet with you. You didn't come to my breakfast when I wanted you to. And your only excuse was, well, I felt that we had an argument before, so I don't feel comfortable attending. That has nothing to do with the fact that I'm leaving this day. And obviously recognizing that I know that there are some things that I need to learn from you. So because of that reason, I'm not getting that type of womanly household aspect that I know that I need right now. To kind of compensate for that, there is someone that has been friends with my mother for a very long time and who I didn't lose contact with, who's always been honest. And I've started to kind of be honest and kind of build on that relationship. So that's kind of going well. But for the female aspect, like to be honest, it's still missing. So for me, I feel like it's always been a constant like search for those solid people to kind of really get into the improvement aspect for a man. But again, that's honestly me. So.
Okay. Well, I can feel that. We appreciate that that transparency. Like I said, because at the end of the day, you know, those types of interactions will or can, to a certain extent, induce some trauma, right? So that can bleed into some of your relationships with other folks. Like I said, we have to acknowledge that stuff, right? Because that
Yes.
stuff happens. And
Yes.
those relationships are important. So I don't want to overshadow that. But yeah, like I said, we definitely have to consider that some of these things will impart some trauma. And that will come out in some of our interactions with the opposite sex, you know, for that matter. So I appreciate you being transparent about that, because that is important. But I wanna touch something real quick. So I got a comment that I gotta touch. I
knew it.
So you know, I was like, we gonna talk about this.
That's my girl, though. I mean, that's my girl.
Let me throw this up because I gotta touch this real quick. I got to. All right. So it was a comment that was dropped. It says, I think the big issue is black men need to get their ish together. Oh man.
Okay, wait. But do y'all think, okay, there's two men on this panel directly.
Come on with it.
And just being completely honest, okay, from you guys' perspective, right? Because not every guy, just like I can't speak for, I can't speak for each individual woman, right? But I can just speak in general. But like, do you guys think that there are that there's some validity to the whole idea that men need to get their stuff together?
Well, let me take a stab at this real quick. So let me say this. I think there's some validity to the statement, right? But my issue is this always gets thrown out when we are talking about the ladies. And that's my issue, right? So do men need to get their ish together? Yes, they do. We got a lot of fellas out here dropping balls, not taking care of family properly, not fathering kids properly, not husbanding wives properly, not pushing themselves properly, not leading the community, right? Because that for me, anybody who's ever watched this show know that I am always talking to the fellas and definitely talking about fellas leading, right? That is a huge part of what is missing. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think that's why a lot of our community has led astray, because fellas is not out here setting the tone and leading these households. So I stand on that, right? So I definitely think that there's multiple ways that fellas need to get their ish together in 2022, right? So we can move forward. My only problem is this statement always is thrown out when we're speaking to the ladies. And that is my problem. Because for me, this comes back to accountability. To Vince's point, when Kevin Samuels used to be on that show, and I recall an episode very vividly right now, where he was talking to a brother and he was like, bro, you broke. He was like, you ain't got your money right. He was like, you fat. And he was like, I'm gonna keep it as non-graphic as I can. And you got a little D. So he was like, what does the lady have to look forward to if you can't even give it, you can't even pipe her down? That's basically what he told my man. And my man just had to eat it. Like, all right, you're right, bro. Like, I got to get my stuff together. He had to own that. He didn't come back and say, but what about the ladies? He didn't say that. So to Vince's point, fellas have been getting critiqued like this since they were young. But it's like when the ladies get critiqued, then they got to come back with what the fellas doing. And that's my problem. And see, for me, that points back to accountability. Yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm a man. I got a family, I got a wife, I got children, right? So if I'm receiving criticism, I gotta own it. Because at the end of the day, I got responsibilities. I got people that are following my lead. I gotta own it. I gotta eat it. Yep, in those situations, don't nobody care about, you know what I'm saying, what the lady's doing. Yeah, when there's some stuff coming to the house and I gotta handle that, ain't nobody talking about well your wife didn't do. They ain't saying that. They saying I need you to go handle that. You the man, you the husband, you the father. You need to handle that. So I don't got no scapegoat. I don't have no escape plan. I don't have no side move I can make. I gotta own it. And that's my only problem with that statement. Like I said, when folks are critiquing or criticizing women, what's wrong, to the point that was made earlier? What's wrong with saying, okay, you right? Yep, like what's wrong with that? So that's my point with that statement.
Well, since I'm about to say something real controversial. I'm about to go full Kevin Samuels.
Oh, well, wait, okay.
Full blown Kevin Samuels on Miss whatever. I can't even see the last. Okay, now I got a couple points. Who raising these men?
Where's that? I was gonna say, where's that little boom thing you do, Quasi?
Who's raising these men?
Go ahead, man.
I think what we need to do, and I had this conversation with a few of my friends that I work out with. I said, you know what? I think when boys become 5 years old, give them to their daddy. Especially the men. Give them to their daddy. And then you might say, oh, well, he can't take care. He'll be struggling like you struggling. Give them to their daddy. And then let's see. Then let's wait 30 years with men taking, at least they boys, where men are totally responsible and women are the weekend paying child support or whatever. And let's see how we work out then. That's my one comment. And my second comment is, which I kind of took from Kevin Samuels too, is that we don't know how to pick. We don't know. We've never been taught how to pick. Me and my mother never had a conversation about, what I should look for in a wife, or what I should be as a husband, because she never had a husband, and she couldn't tell me how to be a wife because she wasn't a wife. She was my mama. And a lot of these men y'all complain about is the men that y'all raising. They just keep it 100. Women are the ones raising men my age. So blame auntie now. And then you might say, well, the man wasn't there. We can't blame who ain't there. If y'all was doing, it seems like men would be better if we raised by, wouldn't it? It would seem like we would be the greatest men y'all ever wanted because y'all raised us. Y'all raised us to be respectful. Y'all raised us to love women. Y'all raised us to be emotional. But you didn't raise us to be responsible a lot of times. And that's why get the shit together. But that's because their mama coddled them. All you have, and I always tell women, stop telling your boys and your teenage sons that they men in the house and they ain't paying no damn bills. Because they grow up thinking all I got to do is have a penis and now I'm a man. Okay. All I got to do is bring the penis to the party. And then stop accepting these type of men. What type of men are you attracting? Why you keep attracting these men that ain't got their shit together?
I mean, I think that go both ways, though. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think. Yeah.
But we ain't talking about both ways. We talking about women. We talking about. She said men need to get their shit together. So
yeah, no. I mean,
that you attracting ain't got that. Because I know women. I know some women, and we all know them. They can lose their husband tomorrow. It be men wrapped around the block to marry her. Good men. And I ain't talking about somebody who's trying to live with her. I'm talking about these men that's going to step up, take care of her and all her kids.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Ultimately, I do think that it's a poor choosing, right? Like, I definitely think that's a huge problem. I think it's a problem in why we see marriages that don't work out. I think it's a problem in why we get into these relationships. We don't take the time to get to know that person really. And next thing you know, we having babies with that person and we don't even really like them. Come to find out, we don't even like them. You know what I mean? Because we didn't take the time to get to know them. So I do think that's a huge problem, who we're picking. But I do also think that I don't know. At this stage of the game, I do understand the whole men need to get their stuff together, women need to get their stuff together. I think that both of those comments are true on both sides. I think the problem comes up is when, like Quay said earlier, when we are talking about women, right? Now is not the time for a woman to then step up and deflect because she doesn't want to take accountability. And when we're talking about men, then that wouldn't be the moment for a man to walk up and say, well, y'all women, because that's the moment where you need to take accountability, right? There's accountability on both sides, and men need to take accountability for their stuff, and women need to take accountability for their stuff. There ain't no point, no fingers, because we can't make any progress if we just keep pointing fingers at the other person. Okay. Now, I will say this. Women, we have been, and I'm speaking in general because I'm not speaking for every woman, we have been carrying that Black men ain't ish narrative for a long time. That Black man ain't ish narrative has been rolling out of our mouths for a long time. It predates Kevin Samuels, okay? It's a long time we've been saying this, okay? So we cannot get upset now. We don't really have a right to get upset when men start to say, well, what about y'all? You know, you've been talking about we ain't doing this, we ain't doing this, we ain't doing that, we can't go here, we can't do this, we can't. What about y'all? Y'all just don't have it all figured out, and we don't. There needs to be, somebody in the comments said there needs to be balance. There does. And while I agree that, you know, why not give the man a chance to raise the son? You know, while I do understand that whole thought process, if you're living in a home where the two are separate, right? But I think what we need to do even more than that, and I know what you're saying, that you're speaking in a situation where mom and dad aren't together. So I totally get it. But what I think we need to start focusing more on in our community, and I know you said this before, Vince, is picking better so that we can stay together in the home together. So that man and woman and child are together. So we don't have instances where, you know, well, he going over here, he going over there, he being exposed to whoever, wherever he at with mama, and he's being exposed to whoever he or she, whoever at daddy house, and all of this stuff. Like, we need to get to the point where we started off better, right? But if we have situations where we don't have good, you know, we don't have good mentors, we don't have, you know, mom wasn't quite right, dad wasn't in the picture, or we had a troubled relationship with dad, you know, like Nicole was saying, like, all of those things play a factor. And I think that at some point we have to try to find healing. We have to heal from these, because all of these things, they create trauma responses in us, and we have to find ways to heal. And that does take, like Candace said, having women around us who are strong. Maybe they've been through those things and they've made it out, or maybe they had a different path because they were taught something different, so they can help, you know, encourage and edify me, right? Like, we need that, right? Instead of women coming together and commiserating, that is not going to help anybody. I see a lot of women, they in the comments of these posts, y'all, and they co-signing crap. They co-signing foolishness. Yeah, girl, you right, cause see, no. Somebody who really care about you is not going to co-sign you. They're going to say, sis, take that off. You too big for that. They're going to say, sis, no, that's not right. You said what? You said he came over and you did what? That ain't right. Why you do that? That's somebody who really care about your growth and your progress. It's not going to do me any good to sit next to you and commiserate with you, and you talking about some foolishness. You need somebody in your life that's going to tell you the truth, right? And so here come Kevin. He don't know you from Adam, but you get on the phone with him, because when plenty of women called him, and he says, sis, need to lose some LBs. Don't nobody care about your PhD, sis. Nobody's saying it ain't wonderful. That's great, but don't lead with that. What else do you have? What other redeeming qualities as a person do you have? Because that's what makes a relationship work and last. Not your PhD, baby. I can't eat that if I'm hungry. So it's like, I think that we got to get back to balance. Like Donovan said, we balance each other out. We literally do. So you need to have both the, like, men don't think from an emotional standpoint. They don't. So women, when we all in our feelings about everything, we need that man to stay here. Wait a minute, I'm in the camera. Hold on. We need him to stay here, right? While we doing this. Because eventually, if he stay here while we doing this, eventually we gonna go like this. That's a masculine man. So while y'all running around here, and I'm speaking to, I don't know who need to hear this, but while you walking around talking about some toxic masculinity, you need some of that in your life, sis, because you about to lose it.
Can I make one comment before you go, Corey?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Two
You
comments.
got a couple minutes. Go ahead.
Now she done made a comment. It's plenty of beautiful women that are single. She said women stay with, most of the prettiest women are single. But to say that, for the lady who makes the comments, we have to be totally 100% transparent. I do understand that men need to get their shit together, but we also need to understand that men, the things that you need us to get together, we haven't been taught how to get them together. And I'll say that, we always hear where a lot of women say, well, I know my worth. I need to know I think black men need to hear that too. Black men need to put that mantra on too. And I'll give you a perfect example, being totally transparent. I had my kids very young. I married their mother. I was the weekend Christmas dad, whatever you want to say. They moved out of state. They moved to Indiana, which is not too far. But of course, I can't be that every weekend dad now. They live 5 hours away. So it became holidays, summertime. So, my ex-wife, she had them. She was single. She struggled, I guess. But, I did what I was supposed to do as far as the support and having them when they were here. So, long story short, my kids are 5 years apart. When my daughter went off to college, my son was going to high school. So I asked my son, I was like, okay, this would be the perfect time. Why don't you come live with me? I'll get you to Renaissance. I got people. I'll send you the brother rice or whatever. Why don't you come live with me? So he talked it over with his mom, and of course, with Dad, I don't want to leave Mom, and she'll be here by herself, and I really don't want to leave her. I'm doing good in school. I don't want to change my scenario. I still love you, but I want to stay with Mom. And I said, okay. And have to be honest, totally transparent. I didn't understand how much he needed me because I didn't have no father. And I felt that, what? We have a relationship. I'm the weekend dad. I'm the Christmas dad. I see him on his birthday. He called me every now and again. Kids, they don't, I have them during the summer, but I don't have him every day. He don't see how a man move in this world. All he sees is the experience how his mother move in the world, which is totally different. I'm not saying right or wrong, but it's different. And now that I look back on it, I should have pushed the issue more because his view of the world comes from him being predominantly raised by his mama. His problems being handled by his mama. My son had braces. He had very bad teeth. And yeah, we talked about it, but I wasn't there, when he came home crying because the guys is messing with him. His mama had to to console him, and then he called me on the phone because I wasn't there with him. So I understand that we have to get our shit together, but the things that you guys need as women, we don't know how to get that together because we have been taught that that doesn't matter. Because because women they're made more emotional. Men are more pragmatic. Men are more stern. And it's just the way we made. And I talk to my son a whole lot now, more than I ever have. And he's 26, and we talk a lot. And I had to sit down with him, and I said, you know what, Malik, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't demand that you come live with me, so you can understand how the world works for a man through the eyes of a man, through the experience of a man every day. And so many men feel like being and I guess because now that I'm remarried and I have and I'm with her every single day, every single night, I don't, and I see the difference. And there's a dysfunction when two people are not there with that child every day. And so I understand, but you understand, some men don't even understand what you mean by they need to get their shit together, because all they feel is, well, I'm nice, or I'm emotional, but you need him to be more of a man, quote unquote, more responsible, more productive. But he didn't see that because his mama told him, you a man at 15, ain't paying no bills, can barely take out the garbage, don't clean up his room, but you the man of the house. But there was no responsibility behind that man. If he was with me, it would have been responsibility behind that. And you wouldn't be the man of the house. You would be the prince of the house. I'm the king. You'd be out there raking them leaves, cutting that grass, understanding that don't nobody really care about how you feel but me. And it's crazy because people know me and know my son, and we are completely different. He's a lot more softer, gentler. I'm a lot more pragmatic. And some of the things that he needed to get from having a man in his life every day, he just didn't get. And he's going to have to learn by trial and error, like most of these men do. And so I understand what the lady means. So we have to get back to, just therapy is good. And we're going to have to love our way through this, talk our way through this, because we just ain't been taught on both ends.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's facts, man. Well, so I know we at that time. I know we gotta get ready to wrap. Go and take some closing statements. Candace, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You got anything you want to say in closing before we get ready to get out of here?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for letting me on here today. And, Vince, I really did think that the thing you were going to say was most important was communication amongst everyone. It sounds like that's everything all of us pretty much touched on. And, if anybody that's either listening or to you, Vince, and even I have to tell myself this sometimes, when you don't really know what to do when it comes to another person, just really pay attention to them. Just really pay attention and look and see how you make them feel. Look at the disappointment in their eyes and just go from that. And that'll tell you kind of, where you need to go. That's what I go off of, because you know how the saying goes, people will always remember how you made them feel. They may not know why they feel the way they feel about you, but they do. So, but in closing, thank you. I think we all agreed to disagree and pretty much agreed on everything. And Elvindia, you have always been funny. And I wish she would get on, like, for real. She needs to get on and it'll be lit.
No doubt, no doubt.
I think she's scared.
She might be.
No.
I think she's scared. I think she's scared.
Okay. See, maybe she not, Vince. Maybe she not. All right, let me go over to Nicole. Nicole, you got anything you want to say in closing before we get out of here?
Sure. Definitely good show. And I would say what I took from the night was you know, the steps to improve, I would say, start with honesty. I feel like that's that's been a hard pill for me to swallow, and I would say it's getting a lot easier. And the value of, I guess, implementing quick feedback. So as I was kind of holding my head down, I was actually texting a friend, and I asked him, I was like, "We know each other for a long time. What do you think I need to improve on?" And he's actually been around me recently, so he actually had a comment. And then it was like, "Oh, what do you think I need to improve on?" So we're having a whole conversation.
Nice.
So
Good. Good. You know what I said that right there. I said let me grab that because I said that's where it starts right there. Yeah, that right there, right? So that's the gem right there. The conversation that you guys are having back and forth, even asking the question. Like I said, that's where it starts. That's that communication, right? That's that piece that we missing. In our interactions with each other as black men and black women, like that piece right there. So no, I had to applaud that. I said because that's important, and we got to get back to that. And definitely, that's definitely a great start. All right, let me slide up to Chloe. Then we're gonna go to Vince. Chloe, you got anything you want to say in closing?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it short, as y'all know I can get long with it. Um, but no, I think that communication is important. I'm glad Candace said it, and I think that if you consider everything that we said tonight, like at the core of it, like Candace said, it starts with communication and honesty. Like Nicole said, I think it's okay. I think it's okay for us to be honest and transparent. I think we got to get to the point where we don't start every relationship or potential relationship with a person, friendship or romantic relationship, with distrust. And I think that's what we're doing. So we don't want to have those hard conversations. We don't want to trust people with our feelings. We don't want to be honest. We don't want to be transparent. And I think the most powerful thing that happened on the show tonight was Nicole living her truth. That's what living your truth look like. Living your truth don't look like you saying something snappy on social media to somebody. I'm living my truth. That's not living your truth. Living your truth is standing on what's real and being willing to, 10 toes down in reality. We don't have enough of that, right? I think it's okay to go to a man and say, as a woman, and say, you know what? I'm trying to be with you, but I'll be honest. Like, I'm struggling with this right here, right? So I'm gonna need you to be patient with me because I'm working on it. I feel like a man that like you like that will be like, okay, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with a man. A man just being real, like you wanted me to do this, but I gotta be honest. I don't know how to do this. Like you're gonna have to help me because I've never been in a situation where I've ever had to do this before. Nobody has ever asked this of me or expected this of me. So you gotta help me here, right? But I feel like that don't never happen. And I think that when we can start having those real, honest, genuine conversations with each other and at least trusting each other to be able to have those conversations, then maybe we can start to make some progress.
And it is. All right, Vince, what you got, man?
Okay, as I said, once again, pray for the family of Kevin Samuels. I know that this was an unexpected death, and I know they have to go through the funeral and hearing these things about their son and their father, and just pray that they find some peace. And also, we got to just start holding ourselves accountable. We didn't get in the situation in a day. It's not going to change in a day, but we have to come with with a good faith heart and a good faith mind, and understand that we need each other. We were designed, and I don't want to get Holy Ghost, but we were designed for each other. We were meant to live this life with one another. We were meant to love each other. We were meant to love our children. And I think if we get to that point where we are meant to be together, we designed to be together, we're gonna to find our way to come back to that. I think we'll do okay. We don't need to point the fingers. We all have accountability. And we all have accountability to get it together.
There it is. There it is. Couldn't have said it better myself, sir. Appreciate that. I'm gonna just say this. Like I said, we'll get ready to get out of here. At the end of the day, listen, I'm gonna grab this from that comment earlier, if I can even find it. I mean, I can't find it. Got lucky. But yeah, that comment earlier about the fellas needing to get their ish together. Let me say it like this: men and women need to get their ish together. Yeah, let me put it just like that. Yeah, our community, and listen, I'm speaking directly to the Black community. Our community is overrun with men not acting like men and women not acting like women. Yeah, but that is our main problem. At the end of the day, if we want to get this corrected, we both got to take accountability. Yeah, both men and women are falling short right now. We out of order. We out of whack. Yeah, we think we are doing well just because we out here making this money and buying these houses and all this material nonsense. But our relationships are all over the place. It's friction between the daddies and the daughters, friction between the mamas and the sons, friction between the husbands and the wives. I mean, we can barely get a good date going out here. Like I said, folks is relying on Tinder and a whole lot of fish and all this other stuff out here. We can barely get a basic date. I don't know when the last time I slid through a little spot and seen somebody on a date. Like, that's just, it's like pulling teeth out here. I mean, you remember back in the day, you could go anywhere. You sliding over to Fridays and you see a brother over there in the corner with a little young lady snuggled up doing his thing.
Get this thing on.
Yeah, right. With some queso dip and some chips, doing this thing in the corner. It's like you rarely see that now. Yeah, so at the end of the day, like I said, we got to reverse all of this nonsense that we've bought into. We got to reverse all this nonsense that we've normalized. And we got to get back to the good old basics. Yeah, working together, supporting each other, man, ultimately valuing each other. It feels like nowadays, Black men and Black women don't even value each other the same way. Yeah, we are all out of whack. All out of whack. Yeah, but we just got to get back to our traditional foundation of supporting each other. Like I said, I'm sure we all got parents and grandparents out here. They still rocking. As old as they are, they still rocking. Still got each other back. Granddaddy, grandma, they going at it, doing whatever they do, but they still got each other back. Trust and believe that. And the same with a lot of these parents out here, they still got each other back. The ones that's rocking with each other and continue to rock with each other. And we got to get back to that mentality. It's the only way we're going to fix this thing. And like I said, at the end of the day, shout out to Kevin Samuels for putting the platform out there and trying to move things forward. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we got to carry that on. I said, I know folks had issues with his tone and some of the things he said and so forth, but overall, his mission was definitely something that we need to, or definitely a road that we need to go down. And basically, that mission really was, if you break it down, to get us back together. That's really the overall mission. So I'm going to leave it with that. But shout out to everybody who joined us tonight. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Candice, Vince, Nicole, Chloe, we appreciate you. Shout out to everybody in the comments. And I'm gonna try to get this name right. Albendia. I think that's how you pronounce that. Candice, did I say that right?
Yeah, that's Janice.
Okay, I'm just making sure. She jumped on me about that last time. All right, cool. But I said shout out to her dropping the comments. Shout out to Woodsy and Lynette. Shout out to Delisha. Shout out to Donovan. Shout out to Rodney. Man, y'all was deep in these comments tonight. We appreciate you guys. Definitely supporting the show. Let's definitely like, share, and subscribe. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday night, Candid Convos. So with that being said, everybody have an awesome night, and we will catch you guys next Wednesday.